Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today to LCAT's pitch day for spring 2021. We got a lot of great projects from our MFA students and our friends from UCI. So, yeah, let's get started on these projects.
Hello and welcome to the Pitch for Executive Officer. My name is Matt, and I'd like some help with this crazy little idea of mine. Here's the game. It's a third-person capital ship shooter with some smarter-than-average AI. This means that Executive Officer is an AI-oriented project focused on the dynamic between difficulty and intelligence. The game concept is a boss fight, designed to test AI reactions against a player opponent. Both the player and AI will have a similar ship in terms of capability, firepower, and weapons placement, leaving the victor to be determined by the skill of their opponent. The game takes heavy inspiration from series like Battlestar Galactica. The ships are solid, defendable pieces of large military hardware, filling various unique roles. They're rugged, durable, can take a few hits, but they can't last forever, especially when fighting a superior foe. Games that feel and seem similar in weight and the sense of control are Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, Star Conflict, Star Wars Squadrons, and some less niche titles that don't have Star somewhere in the title, such as Assassin's Creed Black Flag with its ships, Warframe's Railjack, and Naval Action. Visually, the goal for the game is the precedent created in Star Wars. They're kit-bashed starships that have seen some very heavy use with lots of smaller details that make them interesting to look at, and even more interesting when parts and bits go flying off when they've been hit. That brings me to, me asking for help. Who am I looking for? I'm primarily looking for early art and engineering assistants. I'm especially interested in concept artists right now, people who would like to work on starship designs and iterate based off of the precedent created in Star Wars Galactica and others of those examples. A rough prototype is already available, though very little is solid and set in stone so far, and I'm open to any visual assistance. Keeping this brief, we're right here at the end. If you're interested in working with starships, AI, or any other parts of the project, let me know through one of the methods above. If you have any questions, feel free to use those to ask as well. Thank you.
Alright, I'm going to leave that up for a few seconds to make sure everybody has that written down. Alright. So, next we have Into the Depths.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for coming to our pitch for Into the Depths. My name is Arya Vasudevan. I'm an illustrator, character designer, and game designer.
And I'm Laura Spreitzer. I'm a 2D artist, programmer, and game designer.
As we designed our thesis project, Laura and I had different but equally important subjects we wanted to tackle. For me, as a mixed Black woman within the video game industry, I wanted to explore and put emphasis on Black and brown representation and racial identity within video games, while Laura wanted to explore how games can be cathartic and healing through both narrative and gameplay for mental health issues.
We realized we could connect these ideas through the powerful themes of mutual support and recovering from trauma. This led to the creation of Into the Depths, a 2D top-down action game that is centered around the two characters, Nichelle and Elias.
At the start of the game, the player chooses which character to begin the game with. Then, the character awakens within a strange but somehow familiar dreamscape. As they explore, manifestations of their inner turmoil begin to appear in the form of monsters and taunt the player. Through quick, action-based combat, the player will guide the character to face these shadows and then accept them. At the end of every level is a boss, and then the player perspective switches to the other character.
Next, the player enters a liminal space where they may heal and have a conversation with the other character. They discuss the harrowing experience the other character has just gone through, and the player is provided an opportunity to choose one of 3 dialogue options, which all offer supportive words to their friend. Depending on this choice, both characters receive an increase to their special bar, which is a timed ability buff, and then it's on to the next level as that new character. This loop repeats all the way until a final boss chamber, where the two characters finally connect and are able to fight side by side.
Now, for our characters, we have Michelle, a young woman struggling to find her place within an ever-changing world. Being the middle child of three, her place within her family is rocked by her parents' divorce and her sisters picking sides. Confused and alone, these feelings have compounded with the loneliness she's felt at school. Over the years, Michelle has endured bullying geared at her identity as a Black woman and a divide between her parents on how to handle it. This has made her question herself and her place within spaces where she wants to excel, like college. Now, during a time where she has to look inward, Michelle must address the insults and emotions she's ignored for so long so she can move forward. Unexpectedly, she has found support through her friendship with Elias and has been given a chance to open up.
And Elias is a young man who has struggled to find his place within any family. After being separated from his birth parents at a young age, he has drifted from home, from place to place, from loosely held friends to loosely held friends. He thought his troubles were over when he was finally adopted by a caring woman and welcomed into her home, but it had only just begun. He struggles deeply with feelings of worthlessness and isolation and closes himself off from others. But after leaving for college and making new friends, particularly Michelle, he started to be able to see how his trauma has really affected him.
We take inspiration from a number of games, but the two we are heavily referencing are Night in the Woods and Hyper Light Drifter. In terms of natural and relatable dialogue and the type of intimate narrative we want to tell, Night in the Woods is a prime example of a game we intend to match.
And our combat system is heavily referenced from games such as Hyper Light Drifter and Hades. We want to prioritize simple base attacks which expand into complex design by their interaction with enemy attack patterns. It must be quick, snappy, and feel great to play.
Our visual style for characters and background is a painterly look with subtle line art. The environment will be a fractured dreamscape that reflects the real world these characters have grew up in. The levels are modularly built, and we will need to be able to repeat assets. The monsters will be primarily black silhouettes to be strong visual statements, and to make it a bit easier on animators.
As you may have seen, we have some art done already, but we are very open to change. In particular, we're looking to completely redesign our environment art. We need a lot of monster designs done, and we are open to change and adjustments to our existing character art.
We are looking for a lot of 2D artists. Most desperately, we are in need of character and monster animators for our combat system, so we can really start tuning and making it feel great. We could also definitely use concept artists for characters, monsters, and environments, as well as illustrators to do the final pieces. And of course, we can't forget UI. We're going for a minimal look, but would certainly appreciate that help.
At present, we have a very basic prototype with some rather ugly placeholder assets. Most of our core functionality is in place. We just need to work extensively on the combat system, which will be a lot easier once we have actual animations done. Anyone with experience in C# and or Unity engineering is also welcome, as well as anyone with any audio skills.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.
Here's our contact information, so please reach out. We'd love to hear from anyone interested. And again, thank you so much.
Alright, I will leave that up for a few seconds to make sure everybody got that one. Pretty sure people will want to get the contact information for this one. Alright, let me do one thing really quickly. It's not the best, but we'll do that. We'll do this. Nope. Sorry about this. There we go. Sorry, it's a little distracting having both a monitor and that at the same time. Alright, next up we are gonna do is Otter Chaos.
Hi there, everyone.
Oh. There we go.
My name is Parker Charles, a game design MFA student here at LCAD. I'm working on my thesis game, Otter Chaos, a charming 3D comedic game similar to Untitled Goose Game. A little bit about me and who I am. I have a BFA in graphic design from Loyola Marymount University up in Los Angeles. I enjoy learning new things and playing fun games, and I also like watching nature documentaries. I also really like my cat Brisket. She's a good cat. As for the game I'm working on, Otter Chaos, it is a cute, comedic experience that is full of personality and charm. Similar titles to this would be Untitled Goose Game and Goat Simulator. And I want to let the player feel like they are in control of the humor of the game by focusing on player-driven goals. The chaos part of Otter Chaos comes from the mess players will make in their quest to obtain scallops. The art style of Otter Chaos will be a low poly look, potentially with a tilt shift effect, to make it seem even more precious. This is all sample artwork here, but I think it captures the environment style I'm anticipating for the game. In the game, the player is an otter hell-bent on obtaining tasty scallops, which are found in a variety of different ways. Almost all of these ways involve taking a tool of some sort, like a small pebble or a bendy straw, and using it to manipulate the objects in the world around you. For example, using a bendy straw as a tool, you could blow air at things to cause them to take flight or roll around. You can also use the straw to poke buttons or things you wouldn't normally be able to poke. So if you or someone you know enjoys making things that capture a certain charm, you might be the perfect fit for this project. The Otter Chaos team is looking for a few game artists to help craft this adorable world, as well as 3D modelers, animators, concept artists, and more. If you want more information or you would like to become a part of this project, shoot me an email at parkercharles@lcad.edu with a portfolio as well as any other questions you may have. You can also reach out to me on Discord or Twitter if you prefer, as I check those quite regularly as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. See ya!
Alright, leaving that one up. I too also really like otters, and I think this art direction is very smart. Is very smart. Very smart and simple. All right. Moving on. And also, if for some reason you wanted to go back and listen to another part of the presentation, don't worry. This is all going to be in a VOD form, which means that using the same link that you got here, you can watch the entire presentation over again. So, next up is Shanghai. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sorry if I botched that name.
Hi everyone, my name is Bowen He. I'm a game design student from LCAD. I'm also a concept artist and animator. Today, I'm going to pitch my thesis game, Shanghai, to you and looking for help. Shanghai is a 2D single-player adventure game. Player plays as an artist, talking to NPCs for clues of monsters, tracking various mysterious creatures from Chinese mythology. Player inputs element power into talisman and use talisman to lure and trap the monsters. Collect monster soul fragments in order to know the story behind it. The goal of this game is help people have a better understanding of the monster from Chinese mythology. Now, let me introduce my core mechanics of my game. I also did a few concept art just help you to have a better view how it looks. The first mechanic on the left, picture on the left, shows a single fishing mechanic, or you can call threshold fishing mechanic. Player press the button to power the talisman to trap the monster, avoiding an escape. After players successfully trap the monster, they will get soul fragments, which includes the story inside of the monster. The picture on the right shows the second major mechanic. It is an index mechanic, which ultimately includes all the information of the monster and the area. Again, the goal is helping people to build a better understanding and build up a learning process for player to know better about Chinese mythology. And I believe these two mechanics will communicate with the goal very properly. Of course, there are some more mechanics in my game, such as NPC interaction and environment object interaction. For the game reference, the Rewinder adds art style in a warmer tone, and the mechanic from Destiny Child will be the ideal mental model. The fishing mechanic from Destiny Child definitely is the inspiration of my game, and I really want to follow the art feeling of in the Rewinder as well, of course, in a warmer tone. So I definitely need some help for my game. I need several programmers to build up my fishing mechanics and build out a better UI for my index system as well. I also need some animators and some artists to create some awesome concept art. Also, I need some special effects artists for my game. So if you are interested or you have any questions or concerns, please email me. There's my email, bowenhe@lcat.edu. So if you're interested, please send me a short bio and why you're interested, and work sample is needed. Thank you for watching and for your short bio and why you.
All right, I'll leave this up for a moment to make sure you guys got that contact information. Yeah, this one looks really interesting, really cool. Don't see a lot of Chinese influence when it comes to games. So this is a good unique opportunity for that. All right. So next up we have the iconic house on Redwood. Oh yes, Redwood Hill.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Garriga and I am an MFA student here at LCAD, and for my thesis I'm working on a 3D atmospheric narration game called The Iconic House on Redwood Hill. This game is going to be story driven and played at the player's pace, so the goal of this project really is to use medium of games and environmental storytelling to tell LGBT plus inspired narratives and create a visually and mechanically polished demo by the end of this program. A little about myself, I'm a digital artist and I specialize in 3D art and texture. I gained my BFA in animation where I fell in love with the 3D medium. My goal for this project really is to tell a good story and to create beautifully artistic world for the player to explore. So the idea of kind of the style I'm going for with this game is a stylized PBR texture. The demo, what I'm going to focus on first is getting a demo ready. So the demo takes place inside the tower, which we see in the sketch, and if scope allows, I would like the rest of the game to be taken place inside and outside the rest of the property. Some similar games with similar gameplay that inspired this kind of project is What Remains of Edith Finch, Ether 1, and Gone Home. A more recent game called Call of the Sea really captures the style that I'm going for, and it has also similar gameplay elements as well. I would recommend those if, if this is the type of games you like to play. So for the style guide, this is kind of what I was going for with these images in terms of the stylized PBR texture. I'm looking for a small team of dedicated artists, really one or two illustrators who are passionate about environment design or prop design. There's going to be some UI design in there too, if that's something that interests you. I will also be looking for 2 to 3 3D general artists who enjoy kind of this type of style, hand-painted PBR texture. The game is focused on environmental storytelling, so there's not going to be any 3D characters in it. If scope allows, there'll be some design for some characters that will be shown in the form of Polaroid pictures. But really, that's as far as I'm going to go with a character for this project. So for the kind of 2D concept and illustration I'm looking for in this game, I'm looking for kind of clean and readable sketches. I'm not looking for high quality, super rendered, really, top level work. I'm looking for just like clean and readable sketches with basic color composition to kind of get the feel of the environment, um, which can be very difficult to do. So, and I want you to tell a story with your drawings and not just kind of, here's a cup, but tell a story of this cup. Whose cup is this, So it's really, this project is really going to make you think about designing who these objects belong to, who lives in these spaces, and really try to tell that story through your art. Again, character design is not a priority, but it is part of a stretch goal. So if you have more passion for environmental design but can do some character, then this might be more up your alley as well. For 3D artists, I'm kind of going to be expecting you to wear a couple hats. My skill has been in Maya, ZBrush, Photoshop, XNormal, and just Substance Painter. I'm aware LCAD uses 3ds Max, and I've been teaching myself so I can better communicate with you guys. But for this project, I'm going to expect you to model, UV unwrap, sculpt if it's a hero object and it's something you want to look into or learn about some more or practice, and possibly texturing the assets if we have time. But I expect you kind of to do that model to UV wrap at least from start to finish, so then it's in-game ready and ready for textures. So if this seems like kind of the idea, like the kind of the project you want to go for or want to be a part of, here's my email. Please contact me and give me kind of the role you want to be in and give me your portfolio so I have an idea of kind of where your skill level's at, and we can kind of discuss and figure out what we can work with. My Discord is here. Feel free to hit me up, and if you want to see a little bit more of my work, my website is down there. And thank you guys for taking the time to listen to my project pitch, and I hope to hear from you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, I'll leave that up for a moment. This one definitely has a lot of potential. A narrative game with an artistic lead is definitely very strong. Means I'll have a strong artistic vision for the narrative game. So yeah, I'll leave that up for a second. Then we'll move on. All right. All right. So now next we have a pitch from Zia Wang. I am sorry, I totally forgot what the name of this project was.
Hi, hello.
Your roguelike adventure. That's right. I remember now. So this is Zia Wang with your roguelike adventure.
So today I want to talk about my game, like your roguelike adventure, and for its pitch, and here's its pitch deck. And my name is Xiao Wen, as you can see on the screen. So our thesis is that we want to implement selective dynamic difficulty mechanic into a roguelike game. This mechanic can, and we believe that this mechanic can help the player enjoy the game better. So here's our game. Your roguelike adventure is a roguelike RPG game with a selective dynamic difficulty system, which encourages players to build their own special gameplay. And also, it has one selective phase that the player can create their map to decide their later roguelike gameplay, like choosing monsters for different levels, and its target audience is players who love roguelike games. So here's a little bit description about selective dynamic difficulty. So we use map to generate a different difficulty. The player will pick a monster on the map before they get into one level. And based on their selection, the monster will act differently in different levels with different difficulty. So the monster will not be selected repeatedly during the map building phase. So in other words, the one monster will not be occur in different levels. And as a result, they will generate different difficulty curve based on the player's choice. And here's the differences between our mechanic from other normal other games. So we don't like in our games we don't have a difficulty level for player to choose, and so maybe in other games the player will need to choose different difficulty levels at the beginning of game, so we don't have that. And the player should arrange the sequence of the monster to build their own choice, and that there will possibly be difficult at the beginning and get easier in the later games based on player's choice. So there will maybe a lot of different difficulty curves rather than just a normal curve. So the game genre. So this game is a roguelike game, an RPG game, and also an action game. So here are the similar games. As you can see, the So Nice, and here's the Binding of Isaac, or roguelike games. So here's our team. We have 3 programmers, 1 audio designer, and 1 concept artist on our team. And currently we are lacking of artists right now, as you can see. So here's the map from our concept artists. So here's also the maps that the player will do during the map choosing phase. The player will choose 1 monster, like listed here, as you can see, and choose 1 to put it for 1 level. And you can see here's the forest level, lake level, and the volcano level. We will not use this one in our game. So here's the view. As the player can see, you can see the room, you can see the player, and you can also see the health bar as a basic UI for the player. And here's the player facing the fire monster in the forest in the first level. And you can see the effects. And here's also the design for the monsters, which our concept artist made like during last semester. And here's the 3 monsters, and they will also look differently in different level. So where we are currently, we are building the 2nd level, and we can say maybe the half of the whole road. And also we have already designed for monsters, so that's great. Yeah, and what we are looking for, so we are still looking for character artists and the concept artists. So as you can see before, this assets we are using, as like we are using the free assets online, so we are not like transferring this art into our style and implement those art style into our game. So we are looking for more character artists and concept artists to achieve that. So our final goal is using our own special art style, and we can put this art style in our game, and the player can enjoy it. And also we are looking for UI UX designer. So yeah, we need a UI UX designer to like create a better gameplay experience for the player. So feel free to contact me. Yeah, if you have any question or you need maybe further explanation, feel free to email me. Yeah. Again, my name is Liao Wan, and you can call me Kimi as well. And here's my email on the screen. Thanks a lot. That's it.
All right, I will leave that up for a second. Could always use another roguelike in the world. Always love me a roguelike. Should get back to Enter the Gungeon soon. That reminds me. All right, moving on. And I think we are more or less halfway through. And since we're all more or less halfway through, I'd like to remind everybody about the importance of these projects and just how you never know if any of these projects will blow up. A lot of good indie games, a lot of popular and successful indie games started off as just basic pitch concepts very similar to this, such as the Outer Worlds, which actually pitched in this same event a few years back in, I believe it was 2015. Yeah, it was 2015 when they pitched at LCAD for artists. So you just never know. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind whether you're considering to or not to sign up for a certain project. All right, moving on. We have The Cursed House.
Hello everyone, I'm Tianzhi Wu. I'm here to talk about our LCAT NFA project, Cursed House. Cursed House is a 2D Cthulhu RPG game. The player will be role-playing characters trying to escape an obelisk house in the Cthulhu world. The story background is based on H.P. Lovecraft's The Cthulhu Myths. The game system uses dice to resolve the in-game events like the D&D. And this game is going to create a journey for Polynesian investigators into a world of creepiness madness. Now we talk a little bit about the game features. First, the basic mechanic is the point clicks. The player can click the item in the rooms and choose an action. These actions will unlock as the story develops and character grows. When the characters face challenges, he can choose 3 types actions, and each action needs different skills. First, the violence actions, for example, like break the door or fight with the monsters. These actions require the strength skill. The second one is the wisdom actions. For example, like find the passwords or solve a puzzle. These actions require intelligence skills. And the last actions is the Cthulhu magics. This one was required the evil knowledge that the characters learns in the game. And we have been talked before that the game uses the dice to resolve the in-game events. So we use the dice to decide each event is success or not, which based on the character's skills and player's lucky. So it may lead to surprise and unexpected results, but at the same time, the characters will grow during the journeys, so the result is not far from the player's expectations. And the most important thing of the Cthulhu world is the sanity. So find the truth behind the mysteries of the Cthulhu mercies will take a toll on your character's psyche. And show the skills and luckies may enable your characters to keep their minds intact. Going insane is a real possibility. While the character's sanity is low, the character will see a different world. It may lead the character out of control and do some crazy behavior. Of course, if the sanity becomes zero, the character will totally mad and the game over. Here is our teams. We already have like 3 artists, and I'm as the leader, also the programmers, and also the audio designer. But we're still looking for 2D artists and writers who is really good at writing about like Cthulhu style story, or, and also need programmers. If you are interested in our projects, please contact my email.
All right, let's leave that up for a minute, just to make sure everyone got that down. We could always use another horror game. Definitely know there aren't too many of those around nowadays, so any bit counts. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have Axed, the Borden Murders. I believe that's what it's called. Forgive me if I messed up the name.
Hi, my name is Lily Edwards, and I'm going to be sharing my thesis project with you, and it's called Axed. Axed is a detective style game set in 1892, and so players are given the opportunity to examine a real crime scene and come up with their conclusions on what happened. So here's a background on the story. So in August of 1892, in Fall River, Massachusetts, Andrew and Abby Borden were found dead in their home, one downstairs and one upstairs, both with apparent axe wounds to their heads. After some investigation, the police decided to charge their daughter, Abby's stepdaughter, Andrew's daughter, Lizzie, who, while an adult, was still living at home. They decided to charge her with the murder, and after the trial, she was found not guilty. So basically, this case is technically still unsolved, so I thought it would be cool to recreate the scene and have people examine the evidence for themselves to see what they think happened. A little bit about gameplay. So as I said, it's a detective game. It falls into maybe the category of walking simulator, so something like Firewatch, Edith Finch, Ether 1, where you go around examining objects, interacting with characters to put together a story. It's a first-person camera, and you'll be able to pick up objects, learn a little bit about them, walk around the house, interact with witnesses, in order to compile a case file. And so by the end of it, you should have an idea of what you think happened that day and who you think is responsible. Our art style is based off What Remains of Edith Finch, so it's realistic, but not hyper-realistic like Red Dead Redemption. Something that's doable in the amount of time that we have. Here are some of our assets that our artists have done so far. They're looking really great. As for who we need, we're looking for some animators to work on our NPCs and bring them to life, and then some UI designers. If you're interested, my email is lilyedwards@lcad.edu. Thank you.
All right. I will pause it yet again one more time. Always like narrative games, and again, this seemed like a very strong one with a very solid concept and art style. All right, let us move on. Next up, we have You Don't Look Sick.
Hello, and welcome to the pitch for You Don't Look Sick, an MFA thesis game at Laguna College of Art and Design. Now, You Don't Look Sick is a life simulator, resource management, visual novel about a character who is disabled and living with an undiagnosed chronic invisible illness. The story focuses on how this character wants to prove they can live independently after graduating high school, and overall centers around conveying the message that there are many ways to be independent, that it's okay to need help, and that invisible illnesses are exhausting. Now, why are we creating You Don't Look Sick? Well, as I said, invisible illnesses are exhausting, and we want to acknowledge the challenge and difficulties people with these conditions face every day. We want to better facilitate discussion around these topics, and we hope You Don't Look Sick can provide an outlet for disabled and chronically ill people so they feel represented and better understood, because you don't often see people portrayed with invisible illnesses and disabilities in video games. Now, my name is Brianna Menard. I'm an MFA student in my final semester at LCAD. I'm the game designer for this project, as well as the project lead, engineer, writer, and artist. I'm also autistic and living with undiagnosed conditions, so You Don't Look Sick is largely based on my personal experiences, and I want it to resonate with others who experience the daily challenge of living with disabilities and both chronic and invisible illnesses. Now, here's the more long-winded overview. Using a visual novel style, You Don't Look Sick challenges players to complete a resource management-based narrative through a month in the life of their character. The end goal is to successfully pay all of their bills and rent by the end of the month. Similar to real life, players must balance their energy, health, and wellness by cleaning their apartment, eating, showering, sleeping, managing their social life, and keeping their job, all while dealing with the symptoms and complications that come with an invisible illness and hidden disability. Our primary development tools are Unity as our game engine, Ink for dialogue scripting, and Discord for communication. Over the last year, we've been slowly building up our prototype and adding more and more features to make You Don't Look Sick a complete game that we can release for free on Google Play for the Android platform. And I apologize if I say any of the names of my artists incorrectly. Here we have apartment concept art by Christina Miller and Jillian Ozasa, and I really loved how lived in they feel. Here's color tests of the previous art by Zixian Toniguo and April Autumn. I feel like the color really brings them to life. We have concept art for one of the work locations by Han Kang, The store name is so good, it really feels like an expensive boutique. And we have loading screen animations also by Han Kang. The sleep animation, such a mood. We have inventory icons by Zixi and Tony Guo. The garlic is my personal favorite. And we have character creation art by Heather Wright and Harold Blake. I really love this style so much, and they've pulled so much together in the last few weeks. Also, please ignore the placeholder hair, because speaking of placeholder hair, here's the amazing concept work that will replace the placeholder by Sona Zhou. I love the base, front, bang, ear, front, back. It's going to be amazing. Now, as for inspirations, we are largely based on the Spoon Theory written by Christine Mistrandino. If you hadn't had a chance to read it, I highly recommend. And by stylized landscapes and interiors similar to those done by Studio Ghibli. Because who isn't inspired by Studio Ghibli? And avatar creation games, life simulators, and visual novels. This subtle shout out to Persona 3. And the real reason we're pitching to you today, we need help. We're looking for UI UX designers to help fancy up what we currently have, inventory icon designers, because we have food but we're missing toiletries, among other things, background artists, both concept and finalized paintings, though a little more push towards finalized paintings, promotional material and poster designers, basically anything to get our name out there and to help make presentations like this one even more promotional. Now, as for resources, we have our original narrative design document, which you can find at briannamanard.com/YDLS narrative design. That's YDLS, you don't look sick. Our Discord is available at briannamanard.com/YDLS Discord. And our latest WebGL prototype is available at briannamanard.com/YDLS prototype. It's quite a bit out of date, and the WebGL kills the font quality, but it's a good way to get an idea of the type of gameplay that we're doing. Now, thank you so much. If you're interested in joining our project, feel free to email me at briannamanard@lcad.edu, or just join up our Discord and introduce yourself in the introduction channel. That was briannamanard.com/YDLS Discord. And now, I would like to leave you with a quick sneak peek of our upcoming release, narrated by yours truly. When you first start up You Don't Look Sick, you're presented with the Start menu screen where you can create a new life. Then you get to go through the narrative, which we're going to skip for time's sake, but basically you get a package that you have to sign for. It turns out to be your high school diploma, which is the last thing you needed to prove to your parents that you are an independent adult. So you decide you must go out to get a newspaper to look at the classifieds to find an apartment and job. Then we get to go to our character creator, where you get to choose a wonderful amount of options to create your character, including placeholder hair, and both eye colors for those with heterochromia, and like lips colors, or you can also go with your skin color, clothing options eventually, but you can choose the color of your clothing. Finally, you settle on your pronouns, and then you go through, realize you need to check in with yourself, find out your current energy is 5, current health is 6, current wellness is 6, and that you can view all of this in the Needs app, which also shows your beautiful picture. Then we ride the bus into town to get our newspaper. And that has been the prototype presentation for You Don't Look Sick, coming to a build to playtest near you very soon. Thank you so much and have an awesome pitch day. Hello, and
All right. Thank you for that. I will leave up that contact information for a little bit, and I believe Brianna was also going to dump some more contact info in the chat, which I can also copy and paste into the description of this presentation. So if you are looking for that contact information readily without shifting through the chat, just go down into the description. All right. We're just about done here. Only 3 more. So next up, we got an old favorite, Nexus Crisis.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about the LCAD MFA Project Nexus, which is a card battler game that's entering its 4th semester of production here at LCAD. A little bit about myself. My name is Ronald Borbeau. I have a background in illustration. I've worked in the video game industry for a little while now, mostly as a 3D journalist and user interface artist, and now I'm doing design and creating this game here with LCAD, hopefully to showcase a thesis project of using digital pre-production techniques to proof a card game and the benefits of that. The game itself is set in a high fantasy elemental world where characters play as various characters from houses that harness elemental powers. So the game itself plays like what's called a deck builder card game mixed with elements of Hearthstone. So it's very much a mashup between those two games, combining those mechanics into something interesting and new. And it's coming along pretty well. Right now, our team really only needs concept artists. We have a very, very talented group of concept artists. We always need more. We have a lot of creatures and characters that need to be designed, and digital painters. This project's pretty flexible in the sense of styles. Like I said, we just characters and monsters. Really, is in like a fantasy world. There's a lot of freedom given to the artists in this regards. All styles are welcomed. You can see we have a wide variety of styles presented here, and like I said, we encourage everyone to showcase their work in their own way. Thank you. My name is again Ronald Borbeau, and you can reach me at ronaldborbeau@lcad.edu if you're interested in joining. But before I go, I want to showcase the game itself and where it's currently at. So the game itself is in a state where you can actually play the game against a easy AI, and like I said, it plays a lot like Hearthstone meets a deck builder game. So you can play these spell cards, you can summon creatures, and you can do various things. The AI currently goes. We're currently working on a multiplayer to get that working. But that's still at least a few weeks off. Hopefully we'll get it done soon. But once you get, so many cards the way you like, you can start getting creatures and tokens on the battlefield. And after that, it pretty much plays like Hearthstone. So I'm about to get a creature on the table here. So like I said, AI's finishing up its turn. And we can summon a creature, and now we have a creature on the table that has its own thing. And after that, it behaves pretty much like Hearthstone. So it's a mix between those two genres. A lot of balance work's going into it as well. And due to the nature of a card game, it just needs lots of illustrations still. And then hopefully it will be a game that's interested in you. And again, if you're interested in potentially contributing to this, you can reach me at ronaldborbeau@lcad.edu. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ron. I will leave that up for a second. Always love some deck building card games. Now, it's actually kind of makes me feel in the mood to go out and get some Magic cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Haven't gotten any of those in a while. All right. Next up. Give me a second here. Gotta do one thing really quickly. All right. Next up, we have Patient Zero from our friends at UCI.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Patient Zero Pitch, a pseudo-epidemiology VR game. Before we begin, hi, my name is Kara Mandaros. I am one of the head producers for this game, as well as the producer for the programming and 3D art departments. And I like dogs and cats and many animals. But anyways, what is Patient Zero? Patient Zero is the working title for our game. It is a sci-fi puzzle game, and it is on a head-mounted VR headset. The theme is sci-fi futuristic, and our priority is for it to be bioeducational. We draw inspirations from movies like Contangent, as well as other VR games for our mechanics. The premise is that it takes place in the far future, where we have advanced technologies for our laboratory techniques, and the player is a new recruit testing new technology at an epidemic research facility. And we have a cute AI that helps guide the player throughout. Now, as far as progress goes, we do have a website. It is not published, but we do have the main page published. We do have another page where all the team members get their own little bio, but for now we're going to show you this one. We have 7 departments, which will be touched up on later. We have 46 total members, but that includes present and past members. For the present, we have approximately 25, somewhere between those two. 20% complete, but we plan to do a lot of polishing, and that's why it's fairly low. We have lots of sound effects and music, and we have lots of game mechanics implemented. We have a trailer that we're going to plug in once it's complete, and a very long about section. Now, our timeline. It was founded December 2019. Departments and roadmaps established in February 2020. We have the demo skeleton completed in June 2020. More recruitment, August 2020. We have the level 1 skeleton complete for December. And January, we have level 1 and demo polishing begins. So at the moment, this is where we are. We are currently working on level 1. The demo is complete. We're just working on polishing the demo. And we're also on our way to plan level 2. So that's described here, our winter 2021 plans, which we're in right now. We have updates, and we have more updates, and we have concept art. We have the lounge, bacteria, lots and lots of assets, concept art. Everything is super cool. And our Bunsen burner, and everyone is credited. And yeah, so that's our progress. Let me go back into present mode. And here is our demo with all the programming mechanics. Let's speed through this. Let's go super fast, actually. We're gonna go sonic speed. So we have our evidence. This is where you figure out what's going on. Statements all like, I have this going on and these symptoms, and you're like, okay, I got you. So you do your thing. You're gonna sanitize, sterilize the rod, and we're gonna fix the texture on that slide soon so you can see it better. The demo needs to be polished a little more, please ignore that. We're gonna take our bottle, we're gonna squeeze onto the thing, we're gonna dye it and add water, wait for it to dye. And you put it into the microscope and you see gram stains. This is our gram stained bacteria, and here's more information on the bacteria. You get more, that's a potential bacteria that the patient is suffering from. So you do another test to make extra sure that we know what's going on. We're going to get the DNA of bacteria and sequence it, and A pairs with T, C pairs with G to get to the plasmid, which is bacterial DNA. And then you try to see which plasmid is most similar to it, and it is the green one. So and then you can decide those aren't the correct answers. That must be the correct answer. The lounge has been updated as well. So yeah, that's our demo. Let's exit again. Go back into present mode. All right, so that's our demo. We have lots of voiceover work. That demo was muted, by the way. Originally, there'd be an AI talking in the background and guiding you through every step. So if you're confused, we have something to guide you through it and tell you exactly what to do. Now, what to expect if you were to join our team? First of all, this is a research class under Bio and Arts. UCI students are given credits and a grade. We do have a professor who observes us, but it's mostly student run and we do a lot of work in groups of students. Right now we are in our winter quarter. It started January 4 and it ends March 19. Then we have a break and then we have our next quarter. So if you were to enter our team, we've already started, we're in progress of working, and there's going to be 1 week break in between the 2 quarters. So team structure, we have 2 head producers, which is Ellie and I. We have 7 departments: research, game design, programming, audio, writing, 2D art, and 3D art. And there is a head per department, or 2 heads. And then you are expected to attend 2 meetings per week, 1 general meeting and 1 department meeting. For 3D art specifically, we only have a daily scrum that takes no more than 30 minutes. You just go in, talk about what you've done. If you have any questions, I'll answer them, etc., etc. It's very quick. So we're looking for 2 3D artists. You will be working on anything from props, which could be organs, furniture, laboratory items like flasks, or environment. And something that would be ideal but not required is if you're available for 30 minutes on Sundays between 2:30 to 2 p.m. We need to create a department meeting, and we'll have it whenever you're available. And if you're available Fridays from 5 to 6, that's when we have our general meetings. Again, if you're busy during these times, you can definitely still apply. Just know that you won't be able to attend certain meetings. So you should join us because we have a minimum viable product complete for your portfolio piece. We have a very chill team for such an ambitious project. Like, we're really cool. We get along really well. We send a lot of memes and it's very chill. And members are given a grade, so study progress is nearly 100% guaranteed. So yeah, if this tickles your fancy, please send me a message.
Alright, I assume that's send her a message for more information or to join the team, and then I assume there'd be a thank you at the end. Well, yeah, there's the contact information. I'll leave that up for a second. VR games are always very hot ticket items when it comes to game development, and especially for medical research and development, which for VR is pretty much a major, incredible factor in that. So definitely consider giving this project a shot too. All right. And oh, wow, this is our last one. Thy will be done. So before I start, I'd like to remind everybody that this is in fact a VOD. So if you came a little late, do not worry. You can use the same link that you got here to watch this entire stream like a YouTube video. So you can watch everything from the beginning to the end and get any information that you need or any contact info you missed. So yeah, with no further ado, we saved the best for last. Thy will be done.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my thesis project titled Thy Will Be Done. My name is Brian Escobedo. I have a degree in behavioral science. I am a quality assurance professional and aspiring game designer. Some of the thesis topics for my game will include the below, especially obedience to authority and conformity, cult mind control, and morality and ethics. The pitch for Thy Will Be Done is it's a 2D, dialogue-driven, narrative-heavy visual novel set in a dark medieval fantasy world that will guide the player through choice and consequence while trying to break free from a fanatical religious militant cult. The game mechanics will include branching and conditional dialogue, a simple inventory item system for unlocks, and multiple endings and outcomes. Some of the game references include Papers, Please as a political tool. Reigns is also a game with simple mechanics that makes a political statement. Tyranny for the game narrative, and Dragon Age and Witcher for art references. I'm going to share some of the final art for our game. These are 2 characters in the lower tier of the cult. And here is basically the big 3 for our characters, the ones that are in charge of it. All cult characters have a certain color scheme, as you can see. The heroes in the game are the ones that oppose the cult views, and they're a motley crew of characters, and we hope to add a few more this semester. The populist characters are the tradespeople that are caught in the middle. The cult is trying to influence them, and the heroes are trying to mitigate that. We also have several finished environments, and we're looking to add more this semester. But we currently have a small chapel. Here's a shot of the large church interior. And this is the exterior of the church. This is the slums of the town. And this is a forest campsite that's away from the town. Basically, I'm looking for character artists, environment artists, and possibly anyone on the UI side. For the design or engineers, anyone with Fungus or Unity experience would be helpful. We do have a few writers on the team, but we're especially looking for playtesters and anyone that wants to give feedback off of different builds and milestones that are created this semester. Here's the master asset list. Basically, we're looking to fill out the cult roster, any remaining heroes, populist characters, and add several more environments to the game. Also, please reach out if anyone's interested in making icons, loading screens, or any charts. I'd say the most critical need we have is for environment artists, especially ones that want to make taverns or dungeons or marketplaces. And we do have some concept artists. We don't have as many character illustrators, but we would still gladly take more concept art as well. The team communication is mostly done in Discord with uploads to Google Docs. And that sums it up. Here's my contact info. Please reach out if you're interested in joining or just want to learn more about the project. Builds will be posted on our website. The next one should be uploaded in the next 2 weeks or so at the latest. And if anyone wants to be a playtester, please let me know. I'm going to start emailing when new builds are put out for feedback. Thank you very much.
All right. I will leave that contact information up for a little bit. And with that, it looks like Pitch Day 2021 for spring is concluded. So I'd like to thank everyone. So if you are interested in any of these projects, please reach out to them through their contact information that they presented. And if you have written that down, great. If not, do not worry, that because again, this live stream will be in VOD form, so you can just go back and look at that make sure you got that contact information right, and write it up. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. I'd also like to remind everybody that we have about the Little Lag Gaming Club, a Discord that we're starting up for just to hang out, have fun, and play games. Hopefully in the future. So yeah, you all have a wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you at our next pitch day. Probably mid to late May. So yeah, you all have a great night and have a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in.